organics and synthetics to another episode of Coffee Effect. We are back. Yay. I'm Sisona.
And I'm Chani Borg.
And it's time for another episode. To start with, I do want to apologize for my shaky schedule the last couple of weeks. It's been weird time, holidays, I've been sick. I expect schedule to still be kind of weird for the next few months. I'm thinking of trying to make this like bi-weekly podcast, just so that we're not stressing about it too
I like
much.
all things that are bi.
You would. Anyway, so Game Informer has been doing a lot of Mass Effect coverage this month. The time we are recording this, it is the 28th. There's supposed to be one more thing coming out November 30th. I believe it's going to be Game Informer podcast, and they have some of the Mass Effect team on with them. So there'll be some questions answered there, but I doubt we'll get too much more. Non-disclosure agreements and PR and stuff. They have to be careful about what they say. And then Thursday, we are getting, on December 1st, we are getting gameplay.
Wait, gameplay?
Yes, gameplay.
Do we know what console? Because I'm a nerd, and I care. Is it going to be more of the
It's probably
PS4?
It's probably going to be PS4. The Nomad showed up in one of the PS4 commercials. One of those PlayStation commercials where they have a whole bunch of different...
they show clips from multiple games.
Well, and even that, they make the CGI world where all the PlayStation characters are in the same space, and so they have the Nomad driving through a whole bunch of people running.
The Nomad?
The new Mako.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Terms, man.
So, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be on PlayStation. That being said, it's probably just a pre-recorded gameplay that they'll show a clip of.
Yeah, not
something they'll actually show playing.
No, yeah.
That's probably something they're going to wait until a couple of months before the game's set to be released. I know we're doing live streams for Dragon Age Inquisition in the months leading up to release. Showing places like the Hinterlands where not much can be spoiled, but...
So at this point, I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't know which console I will be buying the game for. Because I am a sad human person. Well, cyborg person. And I own a PlayStation 4 as well as an Xbox One.
Well, I know I'm getting 2 of them probably. 'Cause
2?
Yeah, I'm going to be getting it for PC just because it's easier for me to play it on PC.
That's true. It's
but I'll
most
probably
natural.
also get it on PlayStation 4 because I'm most likely to be able to do multiplayer with
That's
people
true.
on PlayStation 4.
And I guess I have PlayStation 4, so if we want a multiplayer, that's kind of
of course I'd buy an Xbox One.
Which, it's a sound investment.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
We grew up Sony.
I don't want to talk about it. It's not cheating if we still have both systems.
Anyway.
I'm excited about the Xbox One because I can buy the first trilogy as backwards compatible on Xbox One, can't I?
Yes, it is backwards compatible on the discs from the 360.
360.
They did that for N7 Day. You can also get it from EA Play, I believe, on Xbox.
As a download.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that stuff as well. I obviously don't do Xbox.
Right.
So,
but it's not backwards compatible for PlayStation.
It is not. And that kind of sucks.
PlayStation 3 is the original system that I had the Mass Effect trilogy on.
Yeah, and that's the kind of interesting thing that at the PlayStation stream that they first showed gameplay on, it was kind of weird that they had Mass Effect because Mass Effect has been and BioWare and EA have such a strong agreement with Microsoft and Xbox, so it's really interesting that we've seen such a strong partnership with PlayStation and BioWare for Mass Effect and Andromeda. So that's been kind of interesting. So
Although, isn't PlayStation coming up with their next gen before Xbox?
yes, I think
that's why.
I think that's the primary reason is that we're getting the PlayStation Pro, which has 4K capabilities.
Say that for dumb people. AKA me.
It's 4K resolution. It's supposed to be the next big thing. It's still really expensive to get a TV 4K, just like it used to be for HD when it was first coming out. So doesn't quite sound like it's worth it unless you already happen to have a 4K TV to get the PlayStation Pro.
Got it.
Whereas I think the Xbox One S or whatever it's being called doesn't have 4K.
Interesting. Then what's the draw for the next gen? You'd think I would know these things. I'm such a console person.
I think mostly, and again, I'm not much into Xbox, so I don't know much about the console. But from what I hear, it's just it's got better processing power.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's going to allow for better graphics.
Which is always the draw to the next console.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And
better memory, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But at least with the Xbox, it's easier to plug in hard drives.
That is true.
That is kind of the biggest draw.
Now that the technical aspects over with.
Sorry for nerd speech. Continue.
How dare you? You know, be a cyborg and be interested in hardware.
Yeah, well, the hardware is just as important as the gameplay, in my opinion, because the button mapping is so important for console players, which I know that you play PC primarily. WADS is kind of your home base, but for me it's always been triggers and joysticks. Take that how you will.
I'll let the audience do that. Yeah, so that's the upcoming news that we know is happening. When this comes out, maybe Wednesday or Thursday morning. So, depending on when I get it out and edited, will determine
coming to you from the future. Or the past?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Coming to you from the past.
So either we'll have some news coming up, or some of the news will have already come out. So that stuff won't be covered in this podcast, obviously, because it hasn't happened for us yet.
Yay. But we'll cover it in the next one, I'm sure.
Yes. Like I said, Game Informer has been doing stuff since November 7th, so some other random tidbits have been coming out on the website. A lot of it has been pretty much what came in the article in the Game Informer magazine.
Which I just got.
Cool.
So.
And she doesn't remember which cover she got.
Well, you see, I've seen it for all of 30 seconds this morning. So
For shame.
I didn't really, take a look at it.
You're fired.
Well,
you don't get to be on my podcast anymore.
But you don't pay me, so I can just keep showing up.
That's true. Do you know where I live?
Not for a while.
So we're gonna kind of go over some of the tidbits that we found interesting. Actually, you don't know much of any of it, so this will be all new. You will get live reactions, but not actually live. It's recorded, but
I'm hearing it live.
Hearing it live now in the past, while you're in the future.
Yes. This is our timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly episode.
Excellent. Bringing some Doctor Who into it.
Brought to you from space and time somewhere.
Yes. So, what aspects of the game are you most interested in? And we'll start there.
That's the worst question. What are you most interested in?
What's your favorite color?
Yeah, why would I pick one thing when there are, so many of the many things? I guess, of course I'm most interested in, what kind of story arc you're going to be taking, but I'm really have always been a very interpersonal person. So I'm really interested in seeing how the interaction between you and your companions and your not companions is going to be, because there's apparently a lot of shipmates that are very, you're they're a lot more interpersonal than they have been in the past, but they're not necessarily take-alongs.
Yeah, so no word yet on how big the squad is. The big Reddit leak said 7, which I think we determined last podcast.
Yes.
That was a pretty good number.
We took an extreme amount of time to talk about the perfect number.
5 is too little. 14 is way too many.
7.
9 is slightly okay, but then you had all the advisors, and that just kind of
It'll
did
be
a little bit too far.
It'll be 9 with DLC, if we're being honest. If the big number that they're giving us is 7, it'll end up with 9.
Maybe.
After DLC.
Maybe. So, yeah, big Reddit leak says 7 squad mates. And then we know for certain we have our sibling around for part of the game.
Right.
And we can interact with them. There's this whole story and writer family secret that we can uncover, which is all optional. Suggest a great deal of interaction with a character that is not your squad mate.
Right.
Like,
which sounds very interesting to me in a way that Joker was very much like that in the original trilogy. Like, you did get quite a bit of interaction with Joker and with Edie, pre-squad mate Edie. And that was...
yeah, that's
it's a fun relationship that you had with someone who never stepped foot off the ship for, like, physical reasons, but also him. But, like, you don't really remember the other characters who don't step foot off the ship. I mean, there's, what's his face? Preston. I always forget his name.
Yeah.
Because...
and he made an impact because...
he died.
Him, that, and he was kind of a racist asshole.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the only reason you really remember that is because of how two-dimensional he was as a character. Until, of course...
and, I mean, there was Kelly, but again, in 3, if she's still alive, you do get some interactions with her. So, again, they bring her off the ship.
But that's a maximum of 3.
Yeah. Depending on how much you spent time talking to the NPCs, I mean, I kind of liked the 2 engineers from Cerberus, the Scottish dude, and Gabby.
No, I enjoyed them. Yes,
like they
in
had
passing, they had
they brought character to going down there, especially when you don't get Tally until halfway through the game.
Right.
So you have no other reason to go down there.
Absolutely no other reason to go down there, except for when you want to bang Miranda.
Thane could see you.
I don't really care. I ain't got nothing to be shy about.
He's gonna remember that forever.
Yeah, it's not that long. Hashtag Thane dies. Hashtag spoiler alert. Hashtag make your sister cry. Anyways, yeah, you don't have a whole lot of, like, NPCs that are returning.
Yeah.
That aren't directly on your squad. There was, what's his face, the pilot in the 3rd one, just of your shuttle.
Yeah, which I couldn't
Shuttle
remember
pilot.
I couldn't remember his name last time either. It's
I don't remember.
I think it's Cortez.
Yeah.
God damn it, I have to look this up now.
So I'm terrible with names, which is why I give everyone nicknames. So, like, Sir What's His Butt and the like. I just don't even bother with names most. Hot scientist chick, that's Liara, in case I say it.
Apparently on the Tempest, we have a Solarian pilot.
Ooh.
So we go from Joker to a Solarian.
Interesting. That'll be good for you.
Yep. Though it does make me wonder a little bit on whether or not we'll get a Solarian squad mate.
That's true.
I mean, if they want to have it so there's not a Solarian on your squad so that we have more room for new.
Yeah.
So there's actually a possibility that the Nexus may bring more of the aliens from the Milky Way galaxy than we may see in this game.
Interesting. That would make sense. I mean, there's a bunch of people, like, asleep on the weird ARC
Yeah.
shuttle
and it does sound... I mean, people in the Nexus will be sleeping, and not everybody wakes up right away when they reach Andromeda. Um, don't know if that's from mechanical failure or if that's just how it's supposed to be, where, the soldiers wake up first, make sure it's safe,
Or...
and then...
But there is, isn't the cryo problem the thing about the sibling?
Yeah.
As far as we're aware, that's what they've said.
They have said
so
there's something with the cryo that... So
it also makes sense if that was simply the reason why not everyone woke up.
Yeah. Seriously, he's not on this list.
Well, that's...
New characters. Okay. Steve Cortez.
Yeah, you were correct. It is Cortez, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
But we're completionists here.
We are not completionists. Completionist is Gerard Khalil, and he actually completes games, okay?
Okay. My sister here is very close to being a completionist.
I'm a perfectionist.
I would call you an obsessive compulsive, but...
Well, yeah.
I, on the other hand, pick and choose my battles and where I want to spend my time in fun.
So, it does sound like we will get separated from the other ARC ships.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be able to pick up information about where the other ARC ships are as we go through the story, and maybe through side quests.
Okay.
I know one of the novels at the moment is... I think it's one of the novels, is titled The Lost Ark. So that may be a story about one of the arcs. And that could be why we have not seen a whole bunch of Turians.
If they were all on the same...
Yeah, if they were all on that arc and it got completely lost, so that we don't even find it in this game, that would make sense. And the only Asari we have seen... we have seen a doctor scientist Asari for a brief flash in the trailer, and according to the Game Informer podcast, that might be an Asari named Dr. Lexi, who they got to interact with and meet when they got to play the game. So she, I believe, is supposed to be on the Hyperion, which is the human ARC ship.
Okay. So
there is an Asari helping out on that ship. So we've seen her, and then there's PB, who was on the Nexus, and then when they arrived in Andromeda, she went off her own way. So that's the only Asari we've seen.
So PB is not a member of your squad?
She will be.
Okay.
She just doesn't start that way.
Interesting.
And then we do see a whole bunch of Solarians in the trailer, so it's possible that finding the Solarian arc may be one of the first things.
Pathfinder missions.
Yeah. When starting out, the writer twin, I believe it's called a recon specialist. Because obviously they're not the Pathfinder until something happens to Daddy.
That's right. BioWare playing with your daddy issues.
Hey! And apparently, when you go out to the first mission, your dad has a lucky rock that he wants you to rub before going on the mission.
Okay, that sounds simultaneously dirty and sad.
I know, right?
But I mean...
My head immediately went to, it's a piece of earth.
Yeah.
Remember your heritage.
Right, yeah.
But there could be a whole lot more story to it.
It could be a vault key. I mean, it could just be a rock.
This is not Borderlands.
But I mean, vaults are a thing, right?
It is.
So, I mean...
have you heard that BioWare really likes choice and options in their games?
Really? No! Please tell me about that!
What? Apparently during some some sequences that would have been non-interactive cinematics, you do get some more control. Like during dialogue, you can move your viewpoint a bit more, so maybe see things that, in like Mass Effect, whenever you were stuck in those conversations, you got that static view
of the face.
Anytime you're falling in a cinematic, you can probably move how you fall, try to avoid debris and things like that. we did talk about how there's interrupts
Right.
last time, but they're not coded to Paragon or Renegade. And
You guys didn't see it, but when she said Paragon and Renegade, she moved her hands in the appropriate place that they would be on the keyboard and on the triggers had you had the control. Left being Paragon and right being Renegade.
I did a little T-Rex.
It was very, very cute. Sorry, continue. Interrupts not being coded to Paragon or Renegade.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, and apparently, we were talking about how there's tones during the conversations that you can take. Head, heart, professional, and I always forget the last one.
Sarcastic witty asshole?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's the one I want.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the like interrupt, they're not interrupts. They're
Interaction?
Yeah, something interactions that's supposed to be seen as more of like the impulsive tone. So there's like 5 tones in total that you get to choose from.
Interesting.
To try and build your character.
I feel like my first playthrough of this one, I'm going to kill some people on accident because I'm just going to want to do all the things, which is a problem that I have, and that's part of why I tend to go Renegade, kind of.
Because why the hell not just kill the fucker?
Yeah, because, I mean, like, if you're gonna be a jackass to me, it's gonna come back to bite you, not me. And so I just kind of always choose to do the thing, but it sounds like in this game, if you choose to do the thing every time, that could actually be more of a problem for you than anyone else.
Oh, maybe.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Speaking of choice, while we're talking about it, you mentioned something recently, the restart of your character.
New Game Plus.
Yes. Talk about that for a minute so I can be excited.
Yes. So, in the past, when you played a Mass Effect game, once you hit end game, except for like Mass Effect 2, that was end game. You had to back up in your save file to continue doing things, or you could take that save file and start a new game, and it basically just took your character, the choices from the previous games, and just started over at their level, so you could keep leveling up, and all that. In this game, not only can you just continue doing things after you finish the storyline,
which is a good little feeling, because it means your character probably doesn't die at the end.
Yeah. Sounds like none of your squad mates can die.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm really excited about that, actually.
Yeah, so they went ahead and spoiled that.
Happy ending BioWare scares me.
They are going for kind of more of a lighter tone.
I guess
in this game,
the original trilogy got very dark.
It did get pretty dark.
It's nice to start younger, serious. Crisper, and maybe more fun. Less people dying. I don't know. I'm okay with that.
Apparently, there's more humor in this game.
Oh, good.
Anyway, so yes, you can continue playing after you've finished. All the loyalty missions are still available to you after end game. All sorts of stuff to do on the planets.
That would really make my speed run so much smoother, because it means I don't have to speed run through loyalty missions in order to get to the end.
You can just do story missions, I'm sure.
Because that's how I like to play. I play Assassin's Creed a lot, and I will speed run through the story missions and then just go back and do all of the fun loyalty type missions afterwards, because they're less, I don't know.
You can do them more casually.
Yeah. So that'll be a good Endgame Plus.
So, New Game Plus is you can take your game file and start it over. Apparently you can change your gender, too.
When changing your gender, I'm assuming you get to recreate your face? Or does it just take all of those saved options?
I mean, you could change your face when you were restarting a character in the original trilogy.
That's true.
I mean, every time you start a new game,
you can change your face.
You can change your face. So, I just want to know, like, if you do choose to do that, like, can you just have it where it swaps? So your old writer's face is now your sibling writer?
Yeah.
I would love that to be the case, where it's like,
that would be fun.
Alternate universe.
Yeah, this is the one where I wake up and you are asleep, and then vice versa.
But whatever. That's like itty bitty little tiny things. So yeah, that's a really easy way to try out the other gender without having to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because when you do New Game Plus, it usually means you keep all of your stats.
You keep all your stats.
You keep all of your bonuses. You keep all of your stuff. So you're pretty OP for the early game stuff. So you can go through combat easier.
And just experience the game in a new way. Which I've always really enjoyed New Game Plus. That's something that I did all the way through Mass Effect. I played my broshep twice for all 3 games.
I did for my femshep. I'm just so used to saying writer now.
It's true. We've talked a lot about Andromeda.
I'm just really happy for cis writer.
And the names. You said that they will say your name if it's the default.
Yeah. I think it just tweeted this out to answer somebody's question. So it's on Twitter that if you stay with the default name, occasionally some of the characters will call you by name. But otherwise...
And what are the default names?
Scott and Sarah.
No, I refuse. I'll change my name. It's not worth being called Scott.
No.
It's just not... No.
Yeah, don't want to be called Scott.
I like Ryder. I think Ryder is a great name. I think Scott is an old man name. And I'm sorry to all of our viewers named Scott. But it's too old for a young kid, in my opinion.
Okay.
But also my drama teacher through high school, his name was Scott, so I'm just a little biased.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Moberly. You're probably not watching.
He tried to make me call him Scott, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, so there's that. Sarah's a good name, though.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Sarah.
And it's Sarah without an H.
Good. Slutty Sarah.
Hey.
And I'm sorry to all Sarahs out there. Regardless, the New Game Plus sounds good because you can change your gender, and as someone who enjoys playing both genders rather equally for so many reasons, it's nice to be able to get to do that switch a little more seamlessly.
Switch.
Yeah. Switch.
You switch.
I don't want to talk about this right now.
Okay.
Why are you so mean to me?
Because you made me cry earlier.
Hashtag Thane dies.
So no loading screens on the Tempest.
Woo!
She says as somebody who played on PlayStation 3.
Hey, at least I wasn't playing it on Xbox 360.
Oh god. Alright.
Damn loading screens, though.
Did you have 2 CDs for each game, or was it just one?
Just one.
Just one. Because on Xbox they had 2 per game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like at some point you get to a point in the game where it's like you have to switch discs.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Our friend Kia played on Xbox 360, and I watched her do loading screens and do laundry during loading scenes, just to be clear on the amount of time she had to wait.
Yeah, I mean...
Whereas with me, I could go to the kitchen, grab a sandwich, and come back, and you just sneezed, and you were already...
I took a bite of my snack.
Oh, wow.
I took a full bite.
It's impressive.
I didn't get time to chew. I just took the bite.
Yeah.
You stole that joke from me.
I did.
Yeah.
But I've also actually seen it happen.
Yeah.
So you stole that joke from real life.
Well, that's kind of what you do with jokes.
Yes.
So yeah, no loading screens on the Tempest. It's all kind of one level, so no elevators.
Okay.
You go to the bridge to pilot the ship. You don't actually physically pilot the ship, but you go to the galaxy map on the bridge.
Okay.
And once you're done choosing the planet that you want to be going to, and then you come out of the galaxy map, you actually get to see that planet come closer in the view screen.
So cool.
So it sounds like they've put in a lot of work to make sure that it looks like there's space outside of your ship.
That's nice. And you said it's all one level, which would hypothetically make traveling from conversation to conversation a little more seamless.
Yeah.
A little less Wait, which level do I have to go on to talk to my love interest? And wait,
Did I talk to everybody on this level? I forget.
Did so-and-so just have a meaningful loyalty mission? Do I need to go and talk to them?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, go between elevators and then rooms and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of people that would give up talking to certain people because it meant having to go to that level.
That was me. I did that occasionally.
Yep.
A lot, actually. Because I just didn't ever talk to Garrus. Because he was so far away from everything.
But you went to see Miranda. He's on the same level.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't even know where he is.
Oh
That's how often I talk to him.
Poor Garrus.
Oh, and Rex.
He was on the same level as your girlfriend.
Was he?
Yes.
I didn't really talk to her much either, to be honest.
We're talking about Ashley. Not
yeah,
Liara.
I talked to Liara a lot. She was easy to get to. I was, like, almost always in the infirmary anyways.
Yeah, because you just walk down the stairs and you can get to Liara and Caden.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was difficult because you'd go down that elevator.
Elevators are the worst. I hated loading screens. I just avoided them.
Hashtag make elevators great again. I just went there.
Hashtag you don't get to do hashtags anymore.
Sure I do. I'm the one that's on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, you make a good point.
So yeah, one level, you know, your people do hang out in their sort of area, but they're not just standing there in static poses, apparently. They do kind of move around a little bit in their areas.
Interesting.
Did I mention Solarian Pilot?
Yes,
I did.
Yes, you did.
Because we were talking about pilots.
We were.
And then, so when you pick your planet, it shows up in the view screen. And again, they're working to make sure that it looks like there's space outside. Because when you were on the Normandy, you had that one view screen.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a static picture of lights on a black.
Yeah, it was a little sad feeling.
It was cool in passing, but then you stop to stare at it and you're like, oh.
Yep.
That's a square piece of black with some white lights on it.
Yeah. No, it's true. You could have just as easily have been in a submarine.
Yeah.
Not a spaceship.
And you had no suggestion of where you were in space in the Normandy. You were just in space.
Yep. You just always were in space in the Normandy. Like,
you were never docked outside of a planet. You just came up from Ilium. But now you're out in space.
Yep.
But you're going to land on Ilium again because you have another person that you have to go pick up.
Yeah.
Like, I did not leave Ilium. Show me Ilium. So they're fixing that for this game.
That's exciting. Are we suspecting that there are only planets or perhaps man-made satellite-type structures?
It does sound like we visit the Nexus. It's kind of going to be the new, like, Citadel.
Okay, yeah.
Other than that, all we've heard about are planets.
Okay, interesting.
That
kind of gives a foreshadow into the technology level.
There's been some concept art of, like, what looks like sort of vault, like, structures on, like, asteroids.
Okay.
So there may be things like that we can go and visit.
Interesting. That could be fun. But no Omega-like satellite that's not a planet.
Not that we know of.
Interesting. But that's fine.
Yeah. Again, we don't know much about what's in Andromeda.
Of course not. That's the draw of the game.
Right. We're going to be explorers. We ought to be able to explore and discover. And I believe I saw in an interview that they're like, it always seemed kind of silly in the original trilogy, like, oh, the Reapers are coming, but let me just spend some time wandering around on this planet and then wandering around on this planet and just doing all these side quests. And they kind of took out some of that urgency for this game.
Particular plot.
So it makes sense that if you stop on a planet just to explore, it makes sense.
It's more
for
plot.
The story because you're there to discover. You're there to scan the new things that you don't know and learn about them and meet new people and kill interesting folks. And
yes, the killing of interesting folks. Yeah. My favorite thing.
So far we've only heard about the cat There is a Game Informer video that's up, so you can see the cat faces if you go and see that.
Are those the bad guys? Or they
the,
just guys?
They're the ones that we seem to be fighting in the trailer. That's all I can say.
It doesn't mean anything, really, to
right.
be fair.
It does sound like they are antagonists.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then, but there has definitely been teases that they are not the only sentient alien races that we will be meeting and shooting in the face.
Oh, that's good. What about, like, Ringhead? Is Ringhead a ket?
No idea.
Ringhead something else, or we just don't know.
We don't know.
That's exciting.
Yeah, no idea. Yeah, we haven't really gotten much more about story or anything during this. We have learned that Liam is a black guy, and he has a British accent.
That is really exciting.
I know. I'm, like, really worried that he's not a romance option. And that I'm going to want him to be.
Well, that is always the case for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
More than Solus.
I always have one of those.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
And you kind of wanted a romance Joker, too. You really did for a bit there.
I mean,
you did.
Yeah.
Don't lie about it. I was there. I saw it happen. You were interested.
No, I kind of want to see, like, if I could get into a threesome.
Oh, stop. No, just stop saying words. The words that you're saying are bad. They're bad. No. OTP, Joker and Edie.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, I was shipping them in Mass Effect 2. I think everybody was, like, writing on the wall.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. But it sounds like most characters are going to be romanceable in some way, shape, or form.
No,
just everyone has a different.
It sounds like the most romance options of any BioWare game in this game.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's got to be a lot.
But that includes casual romance options on, I believe, like planets with your crew as well as your squad.
Interesting.
It's
going to be very conflicting for me, because if I have all of the sex, I'll have the most of the sex, but then also, I'm assuming that would mean that I don't get to have a relationship. Because I would like to have all of the sex, hashtag get that booty, and also still be able to have a relationship with someone.
So,
a little more intimately.
Yeah. I believe Mac Walters tweeted out that, like, you know, some people aren't going to mind.
Okay.
If you have relationships with other people,
some
of them are going to say, hey, they don't mind, but don't they really? And then...
of course.
So
it's going to be a little more realistic, which is fun.
Which is a goal that they have always had to try and make it more realistic.
Right.
How much they are able to follow through on what they are promising now.
Of course.
And that is a large reason why, I believe, who was it that Aaron Flynn just did an interview that was posted for Game Informer just yesterday, I believe, that he was talking about how, you know, they saw the disappointment of saying things too early, promising things that weren't complete yet, and that's why they waited so long on the marketing for Mass Effect Andromeda. The game is playable right now,
but it's not finished.
Right, it needs tweaking is pretty much what seems to be what's going on right now. It's fixing all the bugs, making sure all the pieces fit together. It's figuring out if something needs to be taken out, aren't assets that need to be fixed, anything like that.
Right.
That's what seems to be going on right now.
And they don't want to promise something and then not supply that.
Right. Which they had that problem a lot with Dragon Age Inquisition. They made a lot of promises and then had to go, well, that was early development. We were making that, but we had to completely shovel it out because as we got to the final product, we didn't have the room for it.
Right.
We couldn't make it good enough.
Right.
And they definitely want to make sure that they're giving you something that is good enough.
It's true. That has definitely been the overwhelming theme, is we're going to give you something that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've pushed back the date enough times for me to believe that they're actually doing something about it, and it's not just a publicity stunt at this point.
I know the people that are like, oh, I'm so worried about BioWare. Like, no.
No, they're making a good game.
Yeah.
And it's just like anyone making any story of any kind, it's gonna take time, and the ones you spend the most time on are going to be the most polished and the best at the end of the day.
Right. The thing with them being part of EA is that they have that room now to work on projects more. And EA did make mistakes, and BioWare made mistakes early on in that relationship where they rushed out the games, Dragon Age 2,
Oof.
Mass Effect 3.
Mm-hmm.
They learned from that. They went back and said, wait, what makes us BioWare? And EA went, yeah, you're right. That's what makes you BioWare. Our hands are coming off. Yeah. We'll focus on the other things that print us money, and we'll let you come up with your stuff a little bit slower. That will totally print us tons of money.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what a good, like, business relationship is. And as much as we as consumers don't really see it, video games as a excellent story tool, they're still a business, and we still give them our money. And we have to respect them for creating a product that's worth what they're going to charge us for.
Yep. Which I definitely always feel that BioWare is worth the $60 to $90.
I remember buying games back in the day. When I was buying video games, $20 was a new game.
You know, back in the day, it took them 20 people to make that game. Now it takes them 100.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, romances aren't going anywhere for BioWare games. They understand that, I mean...
That is a BioWare game. I like my soap opera in interactive form.
Right. I mean, they know that story and characters are important. And when you put people together in a story, they tend to want to get close to each other.
It's very true.
So, like, intimacy is just an aspect of human psychology that's going to happen.
Right. And I like the idea that they're making Ryder younger, and that they're making Ryder a little more choice-based, in that you can kind of create your characterization a little bit more.
There's one quote where they're saying that Ryder's a bit more of a blank slate than Shepard was. Because, Shepard came on the scene and was already an accomplished soldier.
Correct.
The sort of quote-unquote open world aspect. They keep kind of flip-flopping about what they're suggesting the number of worlds is. I have heard some people go, you'd be surprised how many worlds you're able to visit. And then there's others that say that E3 trailer with Dad Ryder going through and showing different pictures of planets, which came to about 5. That's pretty much the amount of planets that you can go to, which 5 is still a pretty good number.
Yeah.
But that's not an overwhelming amount of planets.
That's true.
And considering the fact that apparently some of them are optional, like, what percentage of those 5 are optional? So I'm still kind of concerned about the actual number of planets that we get to visit.
But perhaps the open world is only those 5 planets, but
we still visit other places for story.
For story, yeah.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, because a lot of times for story-type missions, it's a very world-shaking type event, and it would make sense to not be able to revisit a planet that you had a world-type event on.
Yeah.
So it would be understandable if certain planets were story-only, and then others were a little more open-world, explore, a little more friendly in you're capable of being there for longer amounts of time, as opposed to, you have to go here, and everything's going to blow up after you're gone, so there's really no point in coming back. And you can't really reconcile that with the open world feel if you have
A planet.
if you have a fully playable open world. You can, like, burn down a planet, but then go back to it to do the side quests. True. Which happens sometimes in video games, I know. Like, you can do a world-shaking event in a place, leave said place, hit a checkpoint, go back to said place, and everything is fine now, and you can still walk around.
Or maybe it just has this, like, slight dark and edge to it.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Oh, yeah, it totally burned down, but all the walls are still in place.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Or my favorite, like, where you can, like, walk all the way up to the edge, and then your character just kind of slides back, and then you walk up to the edge again, and you slide back. You know, you get bumped off of said area. You can walk around everything else except for that area. Suddenly you can't touch it.
The invisible walls.
Yes.
So, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of stuff, little tiny things that came out that were related to the big Game Informer article, which I still suggest to anybody that wants a lot of information to look at that. Because there is a lot of information. I had a headache after reading it.
And that's why I don't read, folks. That's a joke. Stay in school. Get good grades.
I'm not even going to touch that one. Anyways, so there's a lot of stuff in there. All the stuff that's on the Game Informer website under the Mass Effect Andromeda Hub is totally free for anybody who has internet access to read. And it's got some good stuff, especially if you haven't been able to get a hold of a Game Informer article. Good basic stuff there. You've got the romance article, you've got the cat video, you've got the Tempest and exploration. That's probably the big ones. And then, of course, we're getting one more thing November 30th, and then gameplay December 1st. I am interested to know what we will be getting after December 1st, because that's kind of the last thing on the schedule right now.
Interesting.
I know there is applications on BiowareBeacon.com, I believe is what it's called, where you can put in application to possibly be a tester for the Mass Effect multiplayer. It's for PlayStation 4 or Xbox right now.
Yes.
So no PC tests, which a little disappointing for me, but you know, whatever. I can still play PlayStation.
Be a part of beta. Be a part of beta.
So get in on that. Hopefully we'll start hearing about that soon. Anybody who was in the Explorers Wanted voice acting contest will probably, if you won, we'll be hearing tomorrow.
Oh.
If they haven't heard from BioWare already.
I've forgotten all about that.
Well, are you checking your email?
Yeah, I check my email every day.
Okay. I'm not worried.
Because I am a reasonable member of society, and I check my email every day.
And your Facebooks.
Also that. I check my Facebook way more than my email.
Right. So, obviously, when that starts getting announced, we'll probably start hearing more about multiplayer and how that operates. We can pretty much expect the same level of customization for Andromeda characters in multiplayer as we did for Mass Effect 3.
I was going to ask about that. As far as customization goes, like, what, if they've talked about what options there are, in that I know you complain about hair choices for the female character a lot. I also have some minor complaints about hair for the male. There are more options for men, but they are all the same.
Yep.
To be honest, if you just take it from a very basic short hair standpoint, they're all the same. In the same way all of the female Shep options are all, here is
Buns.
a bun. Which is understandable per character because you are a military person. You have to follow military rules and regulations. So those are genuinely your only options.
No idea so far on customization. Only we've heard that it is very extensive.
And that's what they said last time, though.
Which
I guess they added pink and silver in 3.
For 3. Well, I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition did get more
It's true.
extensive the main issue with that customization was the hair, because you had 3 short hair, you had the 1 long hair, and then you had 50 shades of bald.
That's true. There are a
And
lot.
it wasn't different for male or female.
No.
It was all the same hairstyles you
Mhm.
had, all 10 of them.
Whereas if you play a game like Fallout, there's almost too many hair options, to be entirely honest. And it's difficult to choose, especially Fallout 4. Specifically, I loved the hair options for Fallout 4. All of them were very interesting and accurate looking to real hair. So I hold out hope that for this game, maybe my writer could be a little more interesting looking and a little less clean cut.
Yeah. So no idea so far. But there was one tweet from one of the developers who was saying he started up a new playthrough, and people were trying to get him to answer questions about customization. He's like, well, I can't really say much, but let's go one thing. I spent probably 45 minutes trying to get the correct eye color.
Ooh. That's real exciting.
So
I have very complex eyes, and I would like to recreate that appropriately.
Yeah. One of the things I kind of want to see with hair, even if it's not in this game, but in the future, just have different parts that you can customize instead of just having one full hairstyle.
Interesting.
So you have your base hair, and then you can choose whether you want to put accessories over the top, if you want bangs, what style bangs, and you can choose which bangs you want, which with what hairstyle, things like that.
I was going to ask about clothing in this game. One of my favorite things about both Inquisition and I believe it's Mass Effect 3 are party scenes. Party scenes are my favorite. I just love them because I'm weak. I'm weak to a good party just in real life.
And fancy clothing.
And I love an excuse to dress up, and I always kind of enjoyed well, now you get to put on a dress, or now you get to dress up in a suit, kind of a moment that happens for your character. And I was thinking about it actually today on my drive here, how interesting it could be to choose several different outfits for different things.
Yeah.
However, I don't feel like it fits currently in this story.
Yeah, not really.
It's not an effective stratagem because of the way this story works. It's very much you are an explorer and you will be in armor and
But I know with the extended version of Mass Effect Andromeda, one of the extra options you get, I believe, is the Andromeda Initiative casual outfit. Ooh. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be a lot like Mass Effect 3.
Oh, yeah.
You had the hoodie you got as extra if you bought the correct version, which I didn't.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so they had a N7 hoodie that you got to wear in the game as your shepherd. So I'm thinking that's probably what that version's going to be like as the...
But it would be nice to, at the very least, okay, maybe not have more options casual dress, which is understandable because you're a soldier and you're going to be fighting a lot. The gameplay is very fighty.
You can't be in your armor all the time.
However, what's the customization like on armor looking?
So they have it where it's all kind of different pieces. So you kind of have like your under armor, and then you get to choose like the shoulder pads, the arms, and the legs, and the chest piece, and they're all kind of different pieces that you get to customize and add on, take off. So you don't have to have a matching set of armor.
Interesting. That could be really cool. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so you kind of got that in Mass Effect where you picked up other chest pieces.
Yeah, it was...
but
it was all N7 armor, and honestly, all looked the same.
Yeah. So.
Except for if you got that cool dragon armor, which I wear it a lot.
Yeah, but, you either had the option to wear all N7 or all dragon armor.
Or all Cerberus, or... Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very rarely... mix and match.
So it sounds more mix and match.
That could be fun
in this.
Are those pieces going to have stats?
Yes.
I just mean,
why would armor and
it just could very easily hurt the people who care very much about aesthetics.
I mean, that's why you play casual.
Is there going to be a suit bonus like there is in D&D if you have like all matching
I would imagine
pieces?
if they're making it so that when you choose your PowerPoints and put them into your slots, if they make sure you get that bonus no matter how you put your points in, even if
That's true.
they're probably going to balance the armor like that
The
too.
same way. Interesting.
But I can't say that for certain. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
And then apparently when you do level up and you get your level up points, you also you can level up your nomad.
Oh yeah.
And apparently those points, like, you don't get specific. And now you can level up your nomad. You get points.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can level up yourself. You can level up your nomad. You may be able to level up your armor.
Interesting.
So it's you have a pool of points. Pick how you put them, and remember, at any point you can go. Oh, before a mission, you can go. Okay, take all those points out of those places, reapply them.
Interesting. That'll make replay really weird because you could very easily be like, "Oh, I spend this entire mission in my nomad." Puts all points in nomad for that mission and then goes back to now I have to do melee.
No combat in your nomad. Oh. So the points are for, speed and your armor and your things like that.
Still, it could be interesting. I'm enjoying the point system concept already.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even touched it, and I cannot wait to fiddle around, especially since you can at any time, like, restart.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
And it sounds like there's supposed to be an in-story reason why that's available to you.
Oh, that's even better.
So it's not just a game mechanic.
Oh.
They justified it in story. And if you remember in the Andromeda Initiative briefing video,
mm-hmm.
When she's going through, she says, and some of you will get training in weapons and biotics and things like that. So it sounds like they have technology that makes these things available to everybody.
Interesting.
Because in the past, biotics was something that you had to be exposed to element 0 as a baby to be able to be a human biotic.
That's true.
Obviously, we've made it so if you feel like being a biotic today, you can be a biotic.
That's exciting. That'll be fun.
It's a little disappointing from a story standpoint, though, because I was always disappointed because I like playing Adept as Shepard, and it took I guess Kaden made one mention of it in the first game.
That's true.
Where he's like, "Oh, are you?" They kind of make lifers out of all biotics. Is that why you're in the alliance? And you can agree or disagree with him. And then in Mass Effect 3 is the next time it gets brought up, where after you go to Grissom Academy, Samantha Trainer can go, well, that's where you would have gone to train if you had been born just a little bit later.
Yeah.
And that's like the only mention of being a biotic that you get as Shepard. And that always kind of bothered me because they always make a big deal out of human biotics. And here you are as a human biotic, but that just takes like 4th and 5th stage to being Shepard.
And it is, not to mention just from a technical standpoint, that's a lot of coding.
Yeah, it really is.
Because you wouldn't get that kind of reaction from being a soldier or an engineer,
right?
Which are how I play traditionally as an engineer, and that's the kind of training that you can get from any background of anything.
Do you have an Omni tool? Would you like an upgrade to your Omni tool? Cool, you can be an engineer.
Exactly, which always disappointed me a little because I felt like engineer was honestly one of the most specialized classes. Class-wise, it has...
Did I mention fireballs? There's fireballs.
Fireballs! Like, it has some of the most interesting powers.
Oh, you can do your powers from your jetpack. When you're up in jetpack, you can. And apparently, like, one of Mac Walter's favorite things to do is to jetpack up in the air and then biotic charge at people.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Oh,
So that's a thing that can happen.
Any word on whether or not we get a drone as an engineer? Because
No
that
idea.
is my favorite thing.
No idea.
The drone is my favorite thing.
There is supposed to be, like, new abilities and stuff.
Okay, if anyone here who's listening is involved in making this game, the drone is my favorite thing. And I don't care how late in the game this is, development-wise.
Put it in there!
Make me a drone! I'll love
Poof,
you a lot.
You're a drone.
I'm already a cyborg. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and I'm the drone, so, you know. You don't get to have two of me. I'm unique, dammit.
So drones. I just feel like they're a very useful tool.
Yeah.
And I enjoy their play a lot.
And again, with the no global cooldown, so
each individual.
So you can set up your own combos. Because, like, my favorite thing to do was put up Singularity and then Warp.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, either I had to completely have biotics all on my team just to make sure I had that setup available, which, when you're playing Mass Effect 3 on story mode only, which is easier than casual.
Yes, it is.
It's like, whatever. You tear through everything, you never run out of ammo, just whatever. I never died in that game. But in, like, Mass Effect 2, it's really hard to make sure that you keep your team.
I don't know, I didn't have that problem. Because I ran with Miranda and Tali. And so I had almost no soldier at all. Because Miranda's like half and half. Half soldier, half biotic. Mm-hmm. Or is she full biotic? I don't even remember.
She had the over...
Yeah. So I ran with 2 engineers and a biotic, basically. And I never had a problem soldiering through. But with engineers, you do get a lot of bonuses in armor and the like. Yeah. So it's...
And I was doing a lot of biotics, which have very weak armor.
Very weak armor.
Very weak shields. Very weak everything, except for powers, which take a long time for them to charge up.
But running with 2 engineers is actually... It's more interesting than you would think because of the fireball rate. Like, burn. So much burn, and then you add to that 2 drones, like, makes your team much bigger than you would think.
With your team, you would have only had the 1 burn, yours. Yeah. Because Tali had AI.
Oh, yeah, she had...
hack, and then her drone, and then Miranda had warp, and
I just remember shock. Burn bullets is what... yeah.
So, yeah, I had to make sure I had somebody with more armor.
Yeah, you would have to. Because Miranda has a pretty decent shield.
Yeah.
As does Tali, even though we don't have high armor. Yep. As a group, we had high shield, which is just as good. Anyways.
Alright, well, that was a somewhat good recap of stuff that came out this month. We will see what we have to talk about next time we're able to record. Probably the gameplay at the Game Awards, which is streaming live on Thursday, December 1st. So you will be able to get that pretty much any streaming service, PlayStation, Xbox, Twitch, YouTube, on and on and on.
Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll have that to talk about. Apparently there's, like, possibly more than 5 minutes of gameplay. And to put that in perspective, I'm pretty sure, like, the gameplay we got last time, Bro Rider, was...
Like 30 seconds?
No, it was actually 3 minutes and maybe 40 minutes long.
Oh.
40 seconds long. 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
So almost 4 minutes.
Yeah, so...
It felt like 30 seconds, to be honest.
So...
Then again, you watched it more times than I did.
Yeah, I actually thought it was longer than that, so I was, like, really weirded out by the fact that they were going, oh, 5 minutes to class, that's amazing, and I'm like, what, that was about what we got last time. Oh, I guess not. Okay.
Well, 5 minutes will be interesting.
And I'm really hoping it's this writer, because we really need
she needs a little more
representation. And I really want to hear Freya Wolf's voice because yeah, she's pretty awesome. Again, if you're not following her on Twitter, you should be because she's fantastic. Though since the election, things have been a little bit more serious
Mm,
on her account.
yes.
But she does daily pictures of her cat Hoggle.
Ah.
So there's that at least.
You always have cat pictures to look forward to.
Yeah,
and that is what the internet is for.
The hashtag Daily Hoggle.
Hashtag Daily Hoggle?
Yep.
I appreciate this a lot.
So, yeah, we're gonna end it on the Daily Hoggle note. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. I am planning on trying to get some more videos put together soon. I will probably wait for the end of the week before I start writing scripts because all of this information's still planning on coming out in the next 2 days.
Don't forget to leave comments, questions, concerns.
Like this video. It really helps out.
Be sure to spread around the hashtag Thane dies and hashtag make your sister cry.
How about not? Like, that's okay. We don't need to do that one. Follow us on Twitter, though. I'm at Sisona CR.
I'm at Chaniborg.
And I mean, she's not on much, but maybe if she gets a few more followers, she'll actually like put up witty things because she.
I am witty. I just forget to type things on my phone machine while I think of said witty things.
You're the worst. But
hashtag Thane dies. I'm gonna make it a thing.
I hate you.
I know.
And again, we're still kind of working on a schedule for how to record these things. So. We're working on that. Probably will be 2 weeks before the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we happen to get a whole bunch of time, in which case we'll try and get one out sooner. Because, gameplay's coming out soon.
That's right. Thank you all for listening.
And join us next time for Coffee Effect. Mention that Liam has a British accent. No.
Don't worry, we can edit that out.
May put it at the end of the credits.
Blooper reel.